In this week's Parsha, Yosef is sold as a slave by his brothers. Sibling rivalry just erupts and they decide, we've done with this guy. So there's a caravan of Ishmaelite traders going down to Egypt and they decide to sell him to this caravan. And the Torah tells us something interesting. Normally these caravans would sell foul-smelling items like naphtha, tar, diesel. But for this specific trip, Hashem made a miracle that they sold spices and fragrances. Hashem was sending a message, a clear message to Yosef. I'm with you. In spite of the fact you'll have to suffer, there'll be a silver lining. You won't have to smell anything bad on the trip down to Egypt. And the lesson to us is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. We'll also have our struggles, but if we partner with Hashem and take Him into our ordeal, He'll be there with us. That's a lesson I often share with singles who are in pain because they're still not married. I tell them, partner with Hashem. And let me share a fascinating story with you. Right before the Holocaust, a family in Poland had 8 children. They wanted to move to America but didn't have the money. So they sent their oldest daughter, Anya, to live with a relative in Baltimore. And she gets there. The war takes place, the Holocaust takes place, and the entire family is wiped out. After the war, Anya decides to get married and dedicate her life to having children and naming those children after her deceased siblings. She gets married. Unfortunately, no kids. So she decides with her husband to adopt an 8-year-old girl. And along with the 8-year-old girl came her 6-year-old brother, because they were a team. They refused to be taken apart in any way. So the little girl comes with her to their house and she sees a picture on the piano. And she says to Anya, why is my grandmother in that photo? That was Anya's mother. And so the little girl says, she runs off to her little suitcase. She pulls out a picture, the same very picture. And Anya sees the picture and says, wow. And she says, I have another picture. And the little girl pulls out the picture, this little girl Miriam, and it's Miriam's mother, which is Anya's sister, Sarah. Anya starts to cry. She says, I couldn't have children, but Hashem made a miracle. It will allow me to raise my sister's children. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a silver lining behind everything. Yosef thought that it would be the worst thing in the world to be taken down to Egypt. In the end, because he was always connected to Hashem, even when he came out of the dungeon and he told Paro when he wanted him to explain the dream for him, I'm not doing anything, it's God, He does everything. Because of his incredible connection and trust in Hashem, he would be lifted and promoted to becoming the second most important person in the world at the time. So we have to always remember that there are struggles in our lives, but there'll always be a silver lining. Shabbat Shalom.